Okay, hi everybody. It's me, Nick. This is kind of embarrassing. I was going to do a video this past week, and I went and I got it together and everything, edited it perfect, and somehow I deleted it. I'm not quite sure how. I was deleting all the excess crap from my computer, and it got swept away. And it's a shame because it was a video I'd been planning for a very, very long time. It was about an old spaghetti western called Blind Man. As many of you know, I really like my spaghetti westerns. I think they're awesome. I say as many of you know, as my fans know. My fan. Love you, man. He knows who he is. And it was a movie about this blind gunslinger. He's this guy, and he runs around, can't see, but he can hear real well, I guess. And he can run around and, shoot people by ear. Badass. I don't know. Highlights of the film is that Ringo Starr plays one of the outlaws, and it's kind of strange to see him real ruthless. He runs around and kills people. He's all unshaven. He's got that Clint Eastwood look. And I had a pretty funny joke where I played like some old Beatles songs over him murdering people. You had to see it. It's a shame. You just imagine it, okay? Just imagine it, and it was really funny, and it made you laugh. Are you laughing? Yeah, sure you are. Anyway, and overall the film was decent. I mean, it was a pretty good alternative to a lot of the more well-known spaghetti westerns. But the real reason I wanted to talk about it is because it was a remake of an old Japanese samurai film about a blind samurai who ran around and chopped people up. And his name was Zatoichi. The story of Zatoichi, the blind swordsman, I think it originated as a novel, kind of like James Bond. And the film series continued for 20-something films. And much like Godzilla, of course, he's awesome. I don't know what it is about the Japanese and these long-running film serials. And much like Godzilla, it started out kind of dark and serious, and eventually became more playful and lighthearted. More commercialized, more childlike. You know how it goes. And I, of course, had clips of him running around, stabbing people, and, he was supposed to be like an outlaw samurai. He was supposed to be like in the Yakuza, and I had pictures of supposedly real Yakuza, and it was kind of cool. Yes, the Yakuza do go back that far. It's a long story. He plays high-stakes dice, and he's kind of like James Bond. He runs around, and he sleeps with women, and I had a couple scenes of him telling jokes and stuff, being with a lot of chicks and things. It was really funny. Again, you got to imagine it. Just imagine. There's no heaven. About how it inspired a damn Chinese series about a guy with only one arm, the one-armed swordsman. And sure enough, the one-armed swordsman actually met Zatoichi, the blind swordsman, in a movie, and they fought each other. And I had this joke about how, rumor has it, in the Japanese film, Zatoichi wins, and then in the Chinese version, the one-armed swordsman wins. Just like that other movie is what I'd say. And then I have a picture of Alien vs. Predator. The hardcore monster movie fans might get that joke. And I talked about, how the series kind of came to an end. I, of course, talked about the actor, the main star of the film, who's named Shintaro Katsu. A very fine actor, and he was in a lot of movies. And he was in a movie with Kurosawa, interestingly enough. But on the very first day of filming, it was Kurosawa's Kagemusha, the Shadow Warrior, which is actually one of his I don't particularly care for. But on the very first day of filming Kagemusha, they got in a big fight about something. It was probably something really stupid. And finally, Katsu, the actor, just walked off set. He was like, screw you, I don't need this. I guess, I don't know. You know the way those actors are. In fact, Katsu was mentioned in Geisha, A Life by Minako Iwasaki. I'm going to be talking about this very soon. And she dated him. In fact, there's a picture of the two of them right here. I don't know if you can see it. I really don't care. And eventually, the Zatoichi films even got an American remake that starred Rutger Hauer, who was in that. I think he was the guy in The Highlander, right? I never actually saw The Highlander. I know, half of my life is wasted. Ooh. Eventually they got picked up again. There was a gritty reboot in the 2000s that actually kind of sucked. You know how it is. Stupid bullshit. I mean, it was okay, don't get me wrong. It wasn't, terrible, but it was missing something. No small part because Shintaro Katsu had died by that point. They had to replace the actor, much like James Bond, and it was missing, And then they actually have a one final one where Zatoichi supposedly dies in it. And that one was weak too. And again, they replaced the actor. Very James Bondian. The real reason I had brought all of this together, the whole reason I wanted to make the video and the big moral at the end, was to show how all of this came together. You know, it really started with John Ford, you know, the guy who directed The Searchers and numerous other big westerns. I can't think of them at the moment. Many with John Wayne. He was the guy who put John Wayne on the map. And Kurosawa idolized many of his films and his westerns. He thought Ford was the bomb. And a lot of his samurai films were very heavily influenced by Ford, including one of his big films called Yojimbo with Toshiro Mifune, which was made in Italy as A Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood, which went back to Japan, and then those were remade as Zatoichi films. You know, they were very heavily influenced by the spaghetti westerns. And then those went back to Italy and were remade. It was remade as an American western about a blind gunsman. And now, if that isn't cultural exchange, I just don't know what is.